and I look down and see a world I was once underneath. I stand on this mountain and I look down. My mind knows more than it once knew. Then I knew. Then I knew. Then I knew. Then I knew. Now you're here. You're here. You're there. Now everywhere with me. If this is lost, then there's no place I'd rather be than found me see. Found me see. I climb down this mountain and I look around just to see that everyone used to be me. I climb down this mountain and I look around, my mind embracing more than the truth, than the truth, than the truth, than the truth, than the truth. Now you're here, you're here, you're there. Now everywhere with me. If this is lost, then there's no place I'd rather be. Found me see. Found me see. I once was blind, but now I see the beauty of the world before me. Now you're there. Now everywhere with me. If this is lost, then there's no place I'd rather be. Now you're here, you're there. Now everywhere with me. If this is lost, then there's no place I'd rather be. Found me see. Found me see. Found me see. Found me see.
Hello, hello, my beautiful people. How are you guys this wonderful holiday evening, weekend? For those of y'all that celebrate, it is Easter weekend. Happy Easter to everybody. Let's do as we always do and run through chat. We got ArcticFox in the house first. Doodle was second. Canary in a coal mine. Thank you so much for being here. I'm just going to say I love your name. I absolutely love it. We got Miss Paula in the house. Thank you so much for being here, Miss Paula. Kimber's in the house. Hi, Kimber. Thank you so much for being here. Butterfly Kisses is in the house. Doodle says Happy Easter Eve, y'all. Mustang 65 is in the house. Hey, good to see you. Thank you so much for coming over tonight. Lisa Joe is in the house, popping in. Hello, 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 bae. Hey, hey, Lisa Joe. Thank you so much for being here, guys. I appreciate you being here. Make sure you hit that thumbs up and share out the video. It does help get the channel back into the algorithm. I did take a little bit of time off, some personal stuff going on, but I figured, you know, let's get back into doing the right thing and doing what we love. So, I'm trying to be more of a entity, I guess, over on TikTok, and I'm finding cases that families are on TikTok and they're actually advocating for their loved ones. And it does, to me, seem like a safer environment than it is here on YouTube for those families to create those TikTok platform channels and hold their lives or upload their videos or tell their loved ones stories. So this story that we're going to share tonight is where I've been in contact with her mother. She did ask that I only use vetted information. So I am going to use a podcast tonight that I trust. I also, as always, have pulled up some of my own research that I want to share with you guys. And of course, all the links will be in the description of how to join all the things to support this mom. Let me go ahead and pull up my screen so I can share who we're talking about tonight. Let me go ahead and drop the link if anybody wants to join me. We'll drop that link in the chat as well. It is on subscribers only mode. That is not to be ugly or to try to farm subs. That is to keep where my mods can enjoy the show and they don't have to deal with a bunch of trolls. So this is Alexandria Lowitzer. She goes by Allie. She was last seen on April 26th of 2010. She would now be 30-ish years old, 5'2", 145 pounds. Alexandra was last seen in Spring, Texas on April 26, 2010. She left school that day and got off her usual school bus stop on Low Ridge Road near her home at 3 p.m. She called her mother saying that she was going to walk to her workplace, the Burger Barn, on Treshwidge Road, and I may have said that road name wrong, to pick up her paycheck. Burger Barn was only about a quarter of a mile from her home, but she never walked there before. She arrived at the restaurant and never came home and has never been seen or heard from again. If you do have any information on Allie Lowitzer, please reach out to the Harris County Sheriff's Office at 713-221-6000, and I will be sure to include her missing flyer on my community wall as well. There's Arctic. Welcome up.
Hey, how are you doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
Tired, but doing good. We've got storms rolling in, so.
Damn, more storms?
I'm
Good
telling you, it's
Lord.
Arkansas. It was nice, sunny, and 80 degrees 2 days ago, and now we got tornado threats again. So
What is going on with the weather in Arkansas? It's like turning into Florida weather. Well, Craig was on Newsbreak earlier and he was like, "Is there a hurricane coming?" I was like, "No," and it was an older article. I was like, "Not that I've heard," and I follow a bunch of the storm chasers, so I feel like I would know if there's a hurricane. Doodle's on tornado watch too. Wow. That's crazy. Arctic, are you familiar with Alexandria?
when I saw that you were doing the live on it, I did go and look at some of the information that's out there on her, try to familiarize myself with the case a little bit.
It's, and I'm, and a lot of people that are in the community, I hate the word vanished, but that's almost like what happened to this child. Like there's a little bit of CCTV footage, but other than that, like that's it.
It's crazy. And you go on Facebook and you put her name in the search bar, aside from the MPIA poster and a couple of other posts that have been put out by the family, it's like she's not really gotten a ton of coverage over the years.
Exactly. And when I ran across her story, it was her mom's TikTok. And, she was just asking for people to advocate and to tell her daughter's story. And of course, I reached out to her and, because it's what we do. You make that attempt to contact family. So I reached out to her and told her who I was and that, I would be honored to cover her daughter's story and I would give her, a platform. And I had a team and we would, we all have our own platforms. We'd be more than happy to help her any way we could. And she was really, really thankful and happy about me covering the case. So I really want to bring bring her case back to light, especially since I had never heard this child's name.
Me neither, not until I saw that you were doing the live on it. And I hope that you'll drop the link to the mom's TikTok so I can go follow.
Yeah, absolutely. It's in the locked channel.
Okay. All
Where
right.
Are They Wednesday? But I'll drop it too, and I'll put it in the description as well. Yeah, her mom is a sweetheart, like absolutely a sweetheart. And as we unfortunately hear in a lot of these cases, is she had some YouTubers cover the case and put out misinformation, which has become a norm around here, and it's so unfortunate. And like she's when you go through her videos, Arctic, like it's one of the families that have like these sick, disgusting people reach out with these horrible, awful messages, and it's very infuriating. I'll pull some of this up. The podcast that I grabbed is Voices for Justice. It's Sarah Turney. I absolutely love her. Oh, we lost Arctic. And back.
Yeah, apparently it doesn't like me clicking on TikTok links at the same time that I'm on panels.
Oh no. Thank you guys so much. Hi, Miranda. Thank you for coming in. Yeah, I'm terrified to open any kind of tabs or anything on this one because of the way it's been acting. It's been doing better since I threatened to use the other one full time, but it's still not doing great. I've got to where I used to pull all this stuff up before, and then it runs super low. So I don't want to pull this stuff up before I get ready to actually go live anymore. So I'm really loving having the lock channel so we can drop our stuff in there and keep up with it without having to worry about somebody
doing amazingly better. I think I put the fear of God into it when I threatened to dump it into the baptismal at the Catholic Church.
Well, that'll do the trick. Maybe that's what I should tell mine.
Oh, hello.
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 Hello. Welcome.
Hello.
Thank you guys all for being here. I'm waiting on all this stuff to load. Because, like I said, if my StreamYard had already kicked me out once, all I was doing was hanging out. All right. Let me pull this up here. So the first thing I'm going to show is the Facebook group. It's got 19,000 followers, which is amazing, but I feel like it could be so many more. And it is getting close to her anniversary of her going missing. I was going to do it on the anniversary, but I don't know. It's just one of those things where, wow, where's that coming from? Something's playing. Step it. Oh, Lord. Okay, hang on. I think I found it. Sorry, guys. Okay. Good grief. All of a sudden, I heard something playing in the background. Step it. Okay, so this is her Facebook group. I'm going to drop this in the chat if you guys want to join her Facebook group. And like I said, for the team, Arctic, Kimber, Doodle, all of the information is in the Where Are They Wednesday lock tab in Discord. This was posted on April 17th. Please share, please join and honor Allie. And remember Allie on her 15th anniversary of going missing. So we're going to go ahead and click that. And this is on her Facebook page. Something amazing that her mom did do that I want to share with you guys as well. And, you know, like we always say, some of these families are the best advocates. Like, and just they get out here and they do the damn thing. This is a post from National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. This is from her mom. It says, my daughter Allie has been missing for almost 14 years. On February 3rd, and this was in 2024. February 3rd, we remember her as we observe National Missing Persons Day at our event in Houston. When I speak about her, it is still emotional for me. The saying, time heals all wounds. The wound will stay open until she comes home. Most days we go through the robotic motions of getting up each day and going to work, but as always, the forefront of my mind is burning question, where is she? There will always be an empty chair in our house and a missing piece in our hearts. If she is out there, I hope she is fighting just as hard as we are to bring her home. We love her and miss her every second of the day. Joanne LOWITZER. Allie mysteriously vanished from her hometown in Spring, Texas on April 26, 2010. On Monday after school, Allie told her mom she was going to walk to the burger barn where she worked just to pick up her paycheck. Surveillance video on Allie's bus confirms that she got off the stop at 3 p.m. This was the last time Allie was seen. Joanne has never lost hope, and throughout the years, even transformed her pain and to raise awareness for all of those that are missing. In 2015, Joanne founded National Missing Persons Day, which falls every year on Allie's birthday. And then this is her mom. And they hold an event in Houston. I think I read that at the top. But they hold an event in Houston, and I think that's really awesome that the family, or that her mom rather, was able to make that happen. I'm going to drop that link as well. Tragedy Pimp Exposed. Hey, honey, thank you so much for being here. Was I muted that whole time?
I could hear you.
Okay, it's halfway down. I guess where I coughed a while ago. I thought, Lord, if I just read that whole thing and I was muted. Thank you so much for sharing Tragedy Pimp Exposed. I appreciate it. Oh, see, this is what happens when you don't go live for over a week. You lose your touch. Okay,
So I would be curious to know how law enforcement handled. I would be curious to know how law enforcement initially handled this case when she initially went missing. Did they take it with a sense of urgency, or was it like so many of the other cases that we cover? Oh, it's just another runaway.
Just from what I looked at on her case, they did in the beginning, and now it's kind of fell off. Like, they did the work, got the surveillance footage. And her mom is just absolutely just fighting. I mean, like tooth and nail to find her. And she didn't go missing like far from her home. Like, this place was literally right down the road. The barn was not far from her home at all.
Well, I mean, and that's why it's so important
And,
that we
you know,
go
you're not
back
talking
like we.
about like a troubled teen.
Well,
Sorry,
I
go
mean, and
ahead.
that's
I
why it's
probably
so
got delay
important that we go back like we do and look at these cold cases, because, you know, they're the ones that really need the coverage. They're the ones that nobody is talking about. And so that's, you know, I'm glad that you cover some of these cold cases. Southern Gal is great about covering them. I try to cover at least one a week over on my channel, because these are the cases that have been completely forgotten about. And these families have been waiting for years for answers.
Exactly. Exactly. It's so important to go back and cover the older cases or the cold cases for that main reason, because so many creators, and especially when you see like the bigger creators, they could be using their platform for good, like using their platform to actually bring awareness. They get stuck on one case and that's all they want to talk about. That's all they want to share. Hi, Twist. Thank you so much for being here. And it's so unfortunate. It's like, if you have that size of a platform, please do everything you can to help all of these families. And it just, it blows my mind. That's why I'm so blessed to have the team that we have. And we do show awareness and cover all different cases from all over the world. It's not just home states or hometowns or, cherry picking cases. It's bring awareness to all these cases. And like, when you do what we do, and I honestly feel this from my heart, when you do what we do, like, these cases come to you. Like, you don't have to go and search for them. Like, you don't have to dig for cases, because if it's a case that's meant for you to cover, it's going to come to you, or you're going to run across that flyer, or you're going to get invited to a group. Or like Jaden's case, scrolling through TikTok, ended up finding Jaden's case and bringing his to light. Now she's getting movement on the case. I'm not saying it was because it was over here, but bringing that hope back to the family, giving them that drive, because they go through so much pain, and they have to go through like the modes of grieving. I know that's not the word I'm looking for, but the different steps of grieving, you know what I mean? And you don't want to lose that hope.
No, no. And I always tell families not to give
And
up
that's what,
hope until you have reason not to have hope anymore. Because, we've seen so many cases where people are found years and years later being raised as other people's children or whatever the case may be, but they're still alive and they're found after 40, 50 years. So, it's hard to keep that hope alive, but you have to do it until you have a reason not to.
yep. And this mama, she her thing with Allie's case is hope for Allie. And I love that. I absolutely love that. You're sitting on your thumbs. Why are you sitting on your thumb? Tragedy Pimps, this is a safe place. You don't have to sit on your thumbs, honey. Let it out. Emotional outburst, opinions, all the things. I've thought about starting an unsolved type channel. Clearly what I'm doing isn't helping, calling out the ones that cause a mess. I mean, I just want to actually help. I think that would be amazing. Tragedy Pimps Exposed. I think that would be great if you did an unsolved channel. I think that would be absolutely amazing. Like, calling them out. And I respect what you do, and nonsense, and like a very few other channels breaking chains that do call them out, but it's got to weigh on your heart. It really does. And I think maybe being able to focus on the other side of things, because you have a following and because you have people that are loyal to your following, they'll be able to see that you're doing the damn thing on both sides. You're calling them out, and you're still bringing awareness and covering some of these older unsolved cases. I think that's a great idea, in my opinion. Let's see what else I had pulled up here. I have a slide I want to share, and I'll go through the slide and I'll kind of stop it periodically. But they can only find you with awareness. They find you, yeah. Yeah, and when you do what we do, like, you have families that, you build a trust with these families. Sometimes you're talking to these families on a daily basis. Sometimes you're talking to them on a weekly basis. And you'll have families that'll reach out to you and say, hey, can you help this family? Can you cover this case? I'm going to put you in contact with this mom or this dad or this aunt or this brother or this sister, or whatever the case may be. Or if it's a really old case, I'm going to put you into contact with a family friend that's still here with us. And that's how, networking. That's
Absolutely.
how
In fact,
I find a lot of.
Amy Clune messaged me about a case out of Oregon near where Aiden went missing, asking, if I would cover it, which I'd already covered it a couple of times. Well, one time on my channel, but I did go and join the families group and said, hey, if y'all are interested, I do have a platform. I would be more than happy to host y'all on my channel and help you to raise some awareness for your missing loved ones.
I love that. Amy's so awesome. I love her. I do. And her sister and her mom are just, oh my goodness. You just want to grab them and hug them. And she's such a warrior for Aiden. There can be a huge, messy mess that is disguised as awareness. Yeah, sadly, Twist, you're right. And you just have to, watch. And I would say 90% of the time, if you watch, if you follow a certain creator and you're devoted to that creator, you watch for those notifications to come on. If that creator or that advocate, and I'm smoking, guys, my camera's off, but I'm using my quotey fingers, is not here for the right reasons, that wolf's they're gonna lose their sheepskin, and it's gonna come off, and you're gonna see what that person's really about. And they may wear that sheepskin for a year, they may wear it for 2 years, but eventually that sheepskin's gonna fall off, and you're gonna see the real person, and you're gonna really see what their intentions are. This doesn't have any sound. I'm gonna play it. Hey, Taylor. Yeah, definitely stay safe if you're having weather as well. Of course, this is her MPI missing flyer. This is an age progressed photo of her. And article tell you sometimes we have great opinions about these age progressed, and then sometimes I just want to reach out to the person that did it and was like, where did you pull this from? What did you do? How the hell did you come up with that?
I think 2 of the worst ones I've seen were the age progressions for Monkey and Summer.
Yeah. Summers doesn't look anything like her at all. Not even a little bit, in my opinion. I don't think it does.
No, it looks like they superimposed the boys' faces with Summer's face, and that's how they came up with that age progression, is what it looks like to me on hers. But
I agree. So this collage picture that I put together, this was the bag that she was wearing, a rainbow colored checkered print. She had on skinny jeans that were what I would call a racing flag checkered print, and of course the Sidekick phone, which back then I had a Sidekick phone as well, so that was a pretty popular phone to have back then. Hi Barb, hi Chris, thank you so much for being here. These are just some different photos that I grabbed of her. She's a Sonic fan. My grandson's a Sonic fan. He loves Sonic the Hedgehog. And this was a pin that was from one of the events. It says Hope for Allie, and that's what I was saying is I love that this mom, her campaign to advocate for her child has the word hope. I mean, it's all over. If you go through the Facebook, it's everywhere. And I love that she's keeping that hope and strength. This was the newspaper clip that I used for the thumbnail. What if it was your child that was missing? And then it has the website on there, www.findalley.com, missing since April 26, 2010, in Spring, Texas. And she was fishing. I love fishing. It's a photo of her mom and one of Allie's photos, and then I put hope, never give up on there. I'm not very good with the AI stuff, but I think it turned out pretty good. considering. And of course, I had to throw Sonic on there. This is the Burger Barn. I also went on Google Maps and I screen grabbed the location of the Burger Barn. I did not screen grab her house, but just know that it wasn't very far from her bus stop where she was when she went missing. She does look very happy, doesn't she, Chris? Okay, so this is CCTV footage. This is from the bus with the backpack. The one in the middle, you guys can't see my mouse because it's on my screen. The one in the middle is also the bus, and then the one on the very left-hand side would be the footage from school. And of course, you can't see it, but in the background, it says, "Be the change." So I just wanted to share that with you guys because it did have some, I was going to do a voiceover on it. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go live and we're just going to do a live on her case because I can get a lot more out in a live. I can just a voiceover and then trying to use the voiceover on the live. It's a whole thing. Okay, so we're going to do a throwback video here. I kind of got a little giggle out of this video when I found it. Not because it's a funny situation, but you guys will see why it was kind of like, oh, wow. Looks like a wee baby. Let me make sure I share the audio because you would think having the screen for a year, I would be up to par on making sure my audio was on there too. It's kind of a short video, but I want to show this as well.
And we need your help to find a missing teenage girl. This is In Session's Find Our Children segment. It's our partnership with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children to try to help bring these children home. In Sessions, Christy Paul is here with this week's case. Christy?
Yeah, Vinny, this one is really a mystery here. Police are actively searching for 17-year-old Alexandria Lowitzer. Her friends call her Allie. Take a look at this. There's Allie singing at a school event. She's 17 years old, 5'4" tall, weighing about 145 pounds. There's another good picture over there. Hazel eyes, brown shoulder-length hair, but her hair is dyed a dark auburn red. And we know, Vinny, obviously, changing hair color is a pretty easy thing to do.
Absolutely. So what happened to Allie?
Well, as long as we know, it was an ordinary day. Allie went to school in the morning in the Houston suburb of Spring, Texas. And let me show you these surveillance pictures of her. This is Allie getting off the school bus that very day. She called her mom in the afternoon and said she had to stop at work to pick up a paycheck before coming home. Now, the bus stop and the restaurant where she worked were just a quarter mile apart, and Allie never made it to the restaurant. That was April 26th, 2010.
She left her cell phone charger where it's always plugged in. She had cash in her purse on the floor, and as you can see by the picture, she left her makeup, and none of her makeup is gone.
Police say they've gotten word that Allie may have been spotted recently, so we want you to take a close look at these photos because really she could be anywhere in the country, but if they're getting some sort of a tip, Vinny, you know, we're hopeful that if we get these photos out, people will be able to help.
Now, we do have some information that may make her more noticeable, more recognizable.
Yeah, absolutely. We're told she's very artistic. She loved to paint, draw, listen to music. Was last seen wearing a hooded sweatshirt, checkered skinny jeans, black tennis shoes, also had a multicolored checkered backpack, and we're told she did have her cell phone. Now, she wears pink braces on her teeth, has pierced ears and a pierced nose, lots of pictures here, and a faint scar between her eyes, and chicken pox.
All right, we see the number on the bottom of the screen. Tell people again what they can do, how they can help
Yeah,
her.
so easy, folks. 1-800-THE-LOST. That's 1-800-843-5678, or go to missingkids.com. Allie's story, photos, video, all of it's there. And thank you so much for taking a few moments to take a look at her picture. You know that her parents appreciate it.
All right, anything you can do to help, folks. Christy Paul, thanks so much.
So, of course, the tip ended up not being Allie.
Andrea Lowitzer was last seen.
Thank you guys for being here tonight. Thank you, Arctic and Kim, for coming up on panel. This is Mom Talk. Hopefully it will not take forever to load. Thank you, Twist, for listening. Chris says he's never heard of this case. Sadly, I'd never heard of her case either.
Hi, my name is Joanne Lowitzer. I live in Spring, Texas. And I joined TikTok to reach the right person that might have the information to find out what happened to her. So, briefly, there's only a couple of facts that we have about her decision. 2010, she was 16. She stepped off the school bus after, and nobody saw her since then. We know she didn't run away. Somebody took her. We just don't know why or who, or what happened. So I would love to share more information with everybody. I have a website.
You can't hear anything?
Verify, who I am and that this is real.
I can hear, but it's very low.
Alexandria Lowitzer and find Allie.
Yeah, it's the audio on the TikTok.
So Allie was 16. She stepped off the school bus and she was going to walk to work. It was a brand new job. It was only a quarter mile away from our house.
Oh, come on.
And she didn't make it to work. Nobody has heard from her since then. Here's another picture of her. She has braces and she had just gotten new glasses. I don't have a printed photo of her wearing her glasses, but
Stop it.
yeah, it's kind of hard to make this video, sorry. But I've done everything I can think of these past almost 14 years to try to find her. So if you could please follow me, that way I can talk about her more. I would greatly appreciate it. And again, my name is Joanne Lowitzer, and this is my daughter Allie, and she's missing. So I'm trying everything that I can think of to try to find her. So I appreciate everybody and your support, and please follow me so I can reach 1,000 likes, so I can go live and share more information about this journey with all of you. Thank you.
So she has a huge following. She has hit well over that 1,000 likes, which is phenomenal and amazing for these families. It's being weird. I'm going to give it a second to load so you guys don't have to look at just a blank screen. Yeah, it's heartbreaking, Miss Barb. It is. Right? I feel you, Doodle. Gonna need to hug her until she farts. This is heartbreaking. It is absolutely heartbreaking. And like I said, this mother has been through. She is horrible messages, the horrible Facebook messages that these families get, and it's just, oh. It's so frustrating. As though Yep, TPE, they get attacked. They get attacked, and these families get like these fake PIs that reach out to them, and they're like, "Oh, if you send me $5,000, then I can help find your loved one." And people just send the most horrible messages to these families.
Yes, ma'am. And they get false tips on, like I'm working with a family right now that's got a girl that's been missing out of Tulsa for a significant period of time. Just last week, she got a tip that, now that the case is starting to get some attention, she got a tip that that girl was in a Tulsa hospital, which Tulsa is where she went missing from. And I was talking to the mom. I was like, don't hold a lot of salt or a lot of faith in that tip. Take it with a grain of salt, because as long as she's been missing, I doubt sincerely that's her that's just been sitting in a hospital all this time. And sure enough, it turned out to be a false lead. And it's just like in the Brett McKee case that we were talking about over on my channel earlier, some of the stuff that's been told to that family since Brent went missing. These families are already going through the hardest time that they'll ever go through in their entire lives. So why don't you have a little common sense and decency about you and act like you're a decent human being instead of pouring gasoline on an open fucking wound?
Exactly. And it's horrible. And like there's people that like they send in these horrible tips, and they're like, "Oh, your loved ones," and I'm not saying this about Allie. I'm just saying this so people are aware of what these monsters do. They'll say, "Oh, they're chopped up into 1,000 pieces and put in a barrel on so and so's property." Well, that has to be called into law enforcement. And then you're wasting resources because some troll on the internet decided that they didn't have anything better to do than dwell in their basement than cause heartache to a family. Hi, PJ. Thank you so much for being here tonight. So this is her VICAP. She is on the FBI website as well. Of course, all these links will be in the description. And it just gives her exact same information, but it is the FBI VICAP poster that's on here. And like I said, I'll make sure to put her MPIA poster on my community wall. You can share it, you can screenshot it, you can do all the things. that down. And then this article, I'm just pulling these articles up just so you guys can see them. We've already, I mean, what we've went over as far as her story is it. There's no viable tips. There's nothing. It's just like one of those into thin air cases. And I'd rather use into thin air than vanish because the word vanish just, it irks my soul. I don't like using that word. But this article here was just about her age progressed photo that was released through NCMEC, and it goes on to tell her story and her mom's photo with the picture of Allie in her shirt with Allie. It says Spring, Texas, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, as many of us know as NCMEC, is releasing a new age progressive image that shows Alexandria Allie Lowitzer may look like today before her 30th birthday of February 3rd, 2024. Her mom, Joanne Lowitzer, hopes this image will leak new information surrounding her daughter's disappearance. Allie's mysteriously vanished, there's that word, from her hometown in Spring, Texas on April 26, 2010. On Monday after school, Allie told her mom she was going to walk to the burger barn where she worked to pick up her paycheck. Surveillance video from Allie's school bus confirms that she got off the bus around 3 p.m. This was the last time Allie was seen. Joanne has never lost hope throughout the years and transferred her pain in to raise awareness of all of who are missing. In 2015, Joanne founded National Missing Persons Day, which falls every year on Allie's birthday. And we read this in the Facebook, but I'll go ahead and read it again. It says, my daughter Allie has been missing for almost 14 years. February 3rd, we remember her as Observe National Missing Persons Day at our event in Houston. When I speak about her, it's still emotional for me. The saying, time heals all wounds. This wound will stay open until she comes home. Most days we just go through robotic motions of getting up each day, going to work, but always the forefront of my mind is a burning question: where is she? There will always be an empty chair in my house and missing peace in our hearts. If she is out there, I hope she is fighting just as hard as when we bring her home. We love her and miss her every second of the day. Joanne Lowitzer. Joanne is holding a ceremony, and this is an older article, so I can read the location because it's an older article. It says, if you have any information about Allie or her disappearance, please contact NCMEC, which is 1-800-THE-LOST, and that's 1-800-843-5678, or the Harris County Sheriff's Office in Texas at 713-221-6000. And I will include that as well. And then I also had the article from Click Houston. It'll provide the same information because sadly it's one of these cases where there's not much information. No viable tips, nothing. You've had horrible messages about Colt and Molly Miller. Cynthia Bennett, thank you so much for being here. I'll put it in Truth and Justice on Facebook and PJ's Facebook group. Thank you. It's Single Mom True Crime. I knew who you were, honey. Thank you so much for being here. This is just another article, but shout out to Click to Houston. This was in 2024. So the local, I have to say that we don't see this very often in very many cases, are keeping her name out there. And it says almost 14 years have passed. Allie Lowitzer vanished without a trace in April 2010, stepping off the school bus. She simply disappeared. Allie was on her way home from school when she vanished. The short walk from her job on Cypresswood Drive in Spring. Despite relentless efforts, there was no significant leads in her case. Her cell phone, which she carried with her, went silent shortly after she got off the bus that fateful day. Most of the time, there's just not enough information. Additionally, I think people have envisioned Allie as a teenager because those are the photos that we have. Her birthday was in February, and she turned 30. Her mother Joanne Lowitzer, I don't believe people are actively searching for a 30-year-old, especially since it's been almost 14 years and there's big changes. Joanne continues to receive occasional tips throughout the website she set up. They will be dwindled over the years. She hasn't heard from investigators in at least 5 years. Authorities went as far as instructing their private investigator not to contact them, despite providing all available information in the early years. And Arctic, that's what I was saying, was like in the beginning, like law enforcement was phenomenal, and then it just dropped.
Well, and that does warm my heart to know that they actually did take the case seriously in the beginning. Although, had an Amber Alert been issued at the time of her disappearance, that would have made a huge difference. And I did just drop the petition to help reform the Amber Alert system so that every missing child under the age of 18 gets an Amber Alert issued for them. So I know most of you have already signed it. If you haven't, please go sign that.
Or if you have an alternate email, go sign it. Just saying. Please and thank you. I've signed it under my Monda Monsters, and it's signed under my government name. Ain't nothing wrong with signing it twice.
Well, Austin
see
has
it.
like 30 emails that he creates one new one each year so that he can get the special on Black Friday for Hulu. So I never know what our
Oh,
sign in
Lord.
is for Hulu. But he may have used about 30 of those accounts to go sign that petition. May have. I don't know.
That's awesome. Right? Tragedy Pimps Exposed. Sign it with all your troll accounts. Absolutely. If you have a significant other, grab their phone, log into this live long enough to grab that link. It should be in the description too. I may need to re-add it because I had to retype the description. But it's always, I need to auto set it to where it drops in the Nightbot. It is in the Nightbot, but that way it'll auto drop in the Nightbot periodically as well. I turned them down, guys, so that way they're not dropping so much, like my email and all that stuff. So hopefully it's not flooding the chat. If it does seem like it's flooding the chat, just let me know and I'll turn them back up a little bit more. It just helps with making sure the information's dropped. And I like the inspirational stuff too, because a lot of times what we cover is heavy, and I like the fact that all my inspirationals are in there as well. I'll go ahead and finish this up. It says, it's incredibly frustrating. You just want the case to be worked when you reach out repeatedly and they brush you off, Joanne said. They've even instructed my private investigator not to contact them anymore. We are conducting our own investigation, and at the beginning of several years, we're giving them all the information we had. A lot of emotions were felt on Allie's 30th birthday, February 3rd, which happens to fall on Missing Persons Day. Despite the agony of our own tragedy, Joanne dedicates herself to helping other families in similar situations. She volunteers with an organization such as Texas Center for the Missing and Texas EcoSearch, finding solace in existing of others amidst the ongoing search for Allie. Allie drives me to continue. I figure I can only go forward, Joanne said. I can help myself to learn about different cases, different scenarios about missing persons, and if it applies to my own story, I can help another family in the process. And then why not? Allie and her mother shared experiences in the Girl Scouts, volunteered with the church group for Habitat for Humanity, reflecting in the inherently causing nature like inherited from her parents. As someone who's always had compassion and helped someone else, even if it means giving my shirt off my back, I will do it, Joanne expressed. That was the way I feel I can rest the rest of my life and continue to fight for anyone and everyone to find her. Allie received her first cell phone, a blue LG slider phone. I think I called it a kick side. I think that's what I called them back then, but either way, for Christmas that year, only to go missing with it in April. Joanne shares stories about Allie and emphasizes that she is a real person, not a photograph or a memory. She posts regularly on her website and her TikTok page, sharing stories of her memories of her daughter. That is the way of keeping the word out there. Allie is still missing. I wanted to use this platform to give other families a voice because of a couple of years after Allie went missing, she did not receive nearly any attention, and I felt that she deserved because she's still missing, she explained. It's like you want to climb to the top of the tallest building and shout out that she's still missing, hoping that anyone and everybody will just stop and listen to you. Throughout the almost 14 years, Allie's parents' message to anyone with information about Allie's case evolved. Joanne says that they used to just say, "We just want Allie back, to know where she is and bring her home." But now there's anger behind it. How can someone live through this information for 14 years and not come forward? I plead, just tell someone. Who will tell someone? Joanne said. We just want her home, no matter her condition, because the probability of her being alive is slim. When I talk about her, I try not to dwell on either whether was or is, but the struggle is deep down, and I know she's not likely alive anymore. And this is the age progression photo. Joanne said cases like Jessica Delgado gives her hope, as she disappeared in 2010 and was found alive and safe earlier this month. The details of Delgado's disappearance were not released at her request. In her heart, Joanne says she still wants to believe Allie's alive somewhere. And even after 14 years, getting people to understand the ongoing hope is a constant battle. I feel like something went wrong that day. I can sense it. Without witnesses, there was no Amber Alert, Joanne explained. I urge other parents to get more involved with their kids' lives, even if they push back. It's the only way to keep them safe. The search rally persists, and the reminder of a countless missing person stories remain unsolved. And that is why Arctic created the petition, because she deserves to have an Amber Alert. And this is Allie's website, guys. I'll drop this.
So I have a couple of questions, or mainly one question. So she's been gone for this amount of time. The case has grown cold. Has the Spring, Texas Police Department reached out for additional assistance in the case? I mean, they're in Texas. They've got access to the Texas Rangers. They could reach out to the FBI. They could reach out to Texas EquiSearch. Have they reached out asking for help in this case? Because if they've had the case this long and they haven't been able to solve it, I think it's time for them to ask for some help.
I fully agree. As far as I know, no. The local police was the help that she had.
Well, I think I may have to do my thing and put a little bit of heat on law enforcement then.
Yeah, because this mom, I mean, when you start going through her TikTok, Arctic, or you reach out to her, oh my God, she is such a sweetheart, and she just wants Allie home. It's heartbreaking. From what you read, the FBI is involved. I must have missed that. Thank you, Doodle. I had a lot up on her case, so I may have missed that the FBI was involved. I think, you know what, I believe, was it for her phone? Because I know there was some information about her phone as well. She has her phone with her wherever she is.
Yeah, I would be curious to know if the most basic stuff was done when she went missing. Like, did they pull her call records? Did they try pinging her phone? Did they pull any social media accounts to see if there was anything that was said on her social media that could have led up? Now, granted, as long ago as it was, Facebook wasn't as huge as it is now, but I mean, still, even back then, those are things that needed to have been done to help with the investigation.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. Facebook would have been, what, about 2 or 3 years old back then? Oh, yeah, I did pull up her VICAP. Y'all just have to overlook me tonight. Yeah, I shared this doodle. I'd love to look at it, but it doesn't have like any Bible information on there. Thank you, love. I totally spaced that out that I had that pulled up. I still think she should have got an Amber Alert. He totally pissed me off. Okay, so this is Voice for Justice podcast that she did on it. It's about 30 minutes long. It's a really good podcast, and her mom did ask me to only use vetted information. So there are some YouTube channels that have covered her case. I chose not to use those. One YouTuber's not a name drop or anything. The last couple of families that I've talked to are really not a fan of hers. So I'm not going to use her content because apparently there are families that have had issues with her. So I'm going to choose not to use hers. And it's actually somebody that I respected. But however, Sarah is amazing, and I am going to use Sarah's. So hopefully you guys can hear this.
Long gone
Well,
are days of waiting to be seen in a doctor's office only to have that awkward conversation with your healthcare provider. WISP gives you access to sexual and reproductive healthcare from the comfort of your home. Get treatment for BV, yeast infections, UTIs, and much more delivered directly to your home or ready for pickup at your local pharmacy in less than 3 hours. The best part? WISP is discreet, convenient, and you don't need medical insurance to receive care or prescription medication. Visit us today at hellowisp.com.
Hear that? Spring is back, and so is Church's Seafood with 8-piece shrimp, surf and turf, or fish sandwich, each starting at $3.99.
And hello, Cat Scales, clean restaurant.
Voices for Justice is a podcast that uses adult language and discusses sensitive and potentially triggering topics, including violence, abuse, and murder. This podcast may not be appropriate for younger audiences. All parties are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Some names have been changed or omitted per their request or for safety purposes. Listener discretion is advised. My name is Sarah Turney, and this is Voices for Justice. Today I'm discussing the case of 16-year-old Allie Lowitzer, who was last seen on a Texas school bus on April 26, 2010. That Monday night, Allie's mom, Joanne, thinks that her daughter went to her part-time job after school. But when Joanne arrives to pick her up, Allie is nowhere to be found. That night, Allie is reported missing, starting a tireless search to bring her home. This is the case of Allie Lowitzer. Allie Joy Lowitzer grows up in Spring, Texas, a suburb about 25 miles outside of Houston. And she's involved in a lot of what her neighborhood has to offer. Allie enjoys playing softball and being a Girl Scout. Other than that, she loves being at home. When Allie gets together with her friends, she spends time with them in her house most of the time. She loves watching movies like Anastasia, Rent, and High School Musical. Allie is also extremely fond of animals. She enjoys the pets inside of the Lowitzer home and outside of it. In 5th grade, she took care of a bird's nest and eggs they found inside the family's outdoor grill. She also takes up a lot of creative pursuits, like making crafts with her mom and spending time in her room drawing and painting. Her biggest canvas so far is her grandmother's garage, where she spray painted a sunset mural on an exterior wall. Outside of art, Allie adores music and choir. In 8th grade, she overcomes her shyness to sing the national anthem solo on stage. By all accounts, Allie is a budding artist and just adored by her classmates. During Christmas in 2009, she gets what every teenager dreams of, her very own cell phone. And of course, she uses it all the time. She primarily communicates with her friends through a lot of text messages, about 4,000 a month. Allie turned 16 on February 3rd, 2010. And like a lot of teenagers, she dyes her hair dark red, has a nose piercing, and wears black eyeliner. Allie also wears a lot of black clothing. Honestly, she sounds like most of my friends growing up. She's also looking forward to planning an Alice in Wonderland themed birthday party for one of her best friends. Now, Allie also has this really cute daily tradition with one of her schoolmates at Spring High School. At the end of the day, as they board their respective school buses and they start to pull away, they shout to each other, "I love you, see you tomorrow." And in April 2010, Allie adds something new to her after-school routine, her first job. It's a fast food restaurant called Burger Barn, and it's about a quarter a mile away from her home. Now, Allie had actually been trying to get a job for months, so she's super excited about this. And to make the deal even better, apparently Allie really loves hamburgers. And then finally, on April 26th, her hard-earned paycheck is ready to be picked up. But first, she has to go to school. Joanne recently described that morning on her TikTok account.
It was a typical Monday. I got up and got ready for work. I woke Allie up to get ready for school. And she was in her room getting ready. And I was in my room getting ready. And we really didn't have, much of a conversation other than, bye, Mom, okay, bye, Allie, have a good day. And that was about it that morning.
Allie rushes to the bus stop and makes it just in time. After the short ride, the sophomore has a typical day at Spring High School, going to classes and seeing her friends. As school winds down, Allie calls her mom and tells Joanne that she needs to pick up her paycheck at Burger Barn. Allie wants to do it after school, and while she's there, maybe even work a few more hours to earn some extra money. But Joanne reminds her that her grandmother, who usually drives her to Burger Barn, is busy that day. So basically, she's going to have to wait to pick up her check until tomorrow. But I think we've all been there. This is her first check, she's super excited, and so she begs her mom to please let her do it. And Allie has a plan. She says that she'll take the school bus home, then just walk the quarter mile to Burger Barn alone. But Joanne is naturally a little hesitant to this. She recently recalled this conversation on her TikTok account.
After me telling her no several times, she begged and begged and begged. And, she's like, Mom, please, she says, I'll be careful. I'll text you when I get there. I'll let you know if I'm going to stay and work. Cause she also, wanted to see if she could work. It was a weird schedule. It was kind of like a day by day schedule. So anyway, teenagers know what buttons to push, to talk their parents into getting what they want. And Allie definitely knew mine. It was sweet talking me and say, please, please, please. So I gave in. And that was the worst decision of my entire life.
After some back and forth, Joanne reluctantly agrees. At 2:25 p.m., Allie exits Spring High School, walking out with her schoolmate. They each board their respective school buses home and yell to each other, "I love you, see you tomorrow," just like they always do. But this would be their last time. When Allie's bus arrives in her neighborhood, it stops about 3 houses away from her own. She and 2 boys step off the bus at the same time. The boys see Allie walking toward her home, but she lingers behind them a bit because she's texting. Then Allie walks past her house and away from her neighborhood. At 2:57 p.m., she texts a friend. I don't know what that message says or if this was related to the previous text, but remember that Allie is an avid texter. She sends a lot of text messages. But by 3 p.m., all communication stops, and her cell phone is no longer pinging off local cell towers. It's the last time anyone sees or hears from Allie. 2.5 hours pass. At around 5:30 p.m., Joanne Lowitzer arrives home from work and there's no sign of Allie. Now, Joanne isn't instantly alarmed. She figures Allie probably stuck around the Burger Barn to work a few hours just like she said she might. Maybe Allie will call or text when she's on a break. Then another hour and a half passes with no word from Allie. But still, Joanne doesn't want to interrupt her daughter in the middle of working the dinner rush. So at 7 p.m., she texts Allie to see if everything's all right. Then another hour goes by. It's 8 p.m. now, and Joanne is worried. The Burger Barn is about to close in an hour at 9 p.m., and she still hasn't heard from Allie. And Joanne says that it's really not like Allie to go this long without communicating with her mom. Joanne starts to wonder if maybe there's a problem with Allie's cell phone. Nate's usually the person that picked up Allie from Burger Barn after work, so she goes there right before 9 p.m., right before close. But when she drives up, Joanne sees that the Burger Barn lights are off and all the doors are locked. Allie is not there waiting for her. This episode of Voices for Justice is sponsored by Bombas. It's time for spring cleaning, which includes your sock drawer. It's time for any mismatch. I mostly dress for every comfy pair you purchase. Enjoy worldwide shipping to over 200 bombas.com/justice and you
You're still pushing the limits of what science can explain, even look your best or food-based source. Plus, into my morning Prime for 25%.
Ranked online MBA by Shevin as
into action. They start calling Allie's friends. They start checking out
in Arlington, Virginia.
Obviously, at this point, Joanne knows that something is seriously wrong. She starts calling the rest of the family, including her ex and Allie's dad, John. They jump into action. They start calling Allie's friends. They start checking out her favorite local hangouts. But Allie's nowhere to be found, and no one knows where she is. After hours of searching, Joanne and John call the police and report Allie missing. And here they face another nightmare that is all too common in cases of missing teenagers. This officer arrives at their house, looks at Allie's room for a little bit, and is instantly skeptical that Allie is missing at all. She doesn't take down a report or give any guidance. Instead, she just tells Joanne and John to call the precinct when Allie returns home tomorrow. Now, of course, naturally, this is really frustrating for parents who are beyond worried about their young daughter, who is under 18. But this officer doesn't rush to investigate or start a police search at all. Joanne asks her, quote, "What do we do if she doesn't come home?" End quote. The officer responds to call them, and that's it. She leaves without taking any further action. The Lowitzers are disappointed, but determined. The next day, Joanne and John wake up and Allie still isn't home. Her room is still exactly the way she left it the previous morning. Her cell phone charger, clothes, makeup, money, and jewelry are all still there. So they don't wait for police. They mobilize themselves to search for their daughter and spend the day calling everyone they can think of. Joanne also posts a message on Facebook, which attracts a really helpful response. Joanne described it on her TikTok recently.
I was a Girl Scout co-leader, and one of my friends with Girl Scout Council had messaged me and wanted to help, and she told me to contact the Laura Recovery Center. I'd never heard of the Laura Recovery Center. I didn't know what they were. So after, she kind of told me about what they do, I contacted them that evening.
The Laura Recovery Center is a nonprofit organization in Friendswood, Texas, another suburb located around 25 miles outside of Houston. Friendswood is where the center's namesake, 12-year-old Laura Kate Smither, was abducted and killed in 1997. A year later, in 1998, Laura's parents, Bob and Gay Smither, founded the Laura Recovery Center. They aim to prevent kidnappings and recover victims of abductions. Knowing that, Joanne calls the Laura Recovery Center to see if they can help. And the next day, the center arrives in Spring, Texas, organizing Allie's friends and family. They even helped urge law enforcement to take action, and the police start their investigation. Of course, law enforcement wants to speak with the boys who got off the bus with Allie and her Burger Barn coworkers. Joanne told me that Allie's dad was actually the one to recover surveillance from the Burger Barn and a local gas station, and that law enforcement had actually lost the video from the gas station at one point. However, officials do obtain the surveillance video from Spring High School and the school bus. These are the last known images of Allie. They also check Allie's cell phone records and find, like I told you, that her cell phone stopped pinging on towers at 3 p.m. And then law enforcement goes back to Allie's family and says that there's no evidence of foul play or a crime, and there would be no Amber Alert issued. So let's talk about Amber Alert laws. Back in 2010, the Texas Amber Alert required law enforcement to believe a child had been abducted, kidnapped, or the victim of a crime to send out the message. And here, the police make it very clear that they don't think that that's the case. They conclude that Allie simply ran away from home. This is obviously disappointing and devastating for the Lowitzer family. Joanne knows her daughter better than anyone, and she knows that she just ran away. She also believes that the police are judging Allie as some kind of rebel on her style, when that wasn't the case at all. Allie loves being at home, and she's been looking forward to the future. Her friends' birthday parties, softball tournaments, getting her braces off, and learning to drive that summer. Not to mention, she left behind all these teenage essentials. Her cell phone charger, money, jewelry, makeup. They were all still there. On April 30th, Allie Lowitzer has been missing for 4 days. So the Laura Recovery Center immediately sets up a command center and launches search teams. They really do what the police should have been doing. They deploy search dogs, ATVs, boats, community volunteers. They're searching wooded areas, creeks, and houses in the region. But they don't find Allie anywhere. So, like we see a lot of families do, Joanne turns to social media. She starts a Facebook page, and at the time, over 3,000 people follow. She also creates a website, but still, no leads are coming in. The trail unfortunately goes cold for many years, but Joanne doesn't give up. She keeps updating her Facebook page and website about Allie. She refuses to move to a new house just in case Allie returns, because this is the home that Allie loves and remembers. Joanne also keeps paying Allie's cell phone bill, keeping her phone number active in case she calls. And eventually, the Lowitzer raise enough money for a $25,000 reward for whoever finds their daughter. Unfortunately, with the good attention comes the bad. John and Joanne have to fight off calls and visits from so-called psychic detectives who falsely promise that they can find Allie. Also have to deal with other scammers who claim that they'll find Allie if they get their reward money. By 2014, Allie's been missing for 4 years. And really, there are no new leads or progress in this case. So Joanne takes action herself, hiring a PI named Amber Kamek, who lends her help to the family pro bono. Soon, Amber gets a lead that gives the Lowitzer family renewed hope, and then it fizzles out fast. Amber believes Allie was the victim of sex trafficking, and later received a tip about a woman who matched Allie's description. They say she's in a brothel all the way in Columbus, Ohio. Amber passes this information on to law enforcement, and police raid the location. But Allie wasn't there either. Of course, throughout the case, there are a few other false leads, but they're sightings of lookalikes and minor blips that don't amount to much. Allie is still missing. One day, Joanne is watching the local news, and a reporter hosts a National Blueberry Day segment, going through recipes for the fruit. For many, that would have just been another report on a random social media holiday. But for Joanne, it gives her an idea. She thinks about how that news segment could have been better used to draw attention to missing persons cases, like a local missing persons day. And the rest is really history. Joanne starts a petition and garners the support of local organizations for a Houston Missing Persons Day. And it would be on Allie's birthday, February 3rd. And it's not like this happened overnight. After several years of emails and phone calls, Joanne's campaign works. In 2015, then Houston Mayor Anise Parker proclaims February 3rd as Houston Missing Persons Day. The first one is held in honor of Allie Lowitzer. Along with a volunteer search and the recovery nonprofit Texas EquiSearch, Joanne holds a ceremony that day at the Houston City Hall. And Joanne doesn't stop there. She spends 2 more years contacting people and assembling support for a statewide initiative. a missing persons day for all of Texas. This time it would be on April 26th, the day Allie went missing in 2010. In 2017, Joanne makes it happen. The state celebrates Texas Missing Persons Day at the state capitol in Austin. Joanne is there for the ceremony, where she's joined by other families of missing people. Both days are still honored in Texas and the city of Houston. Another local Missing Persons Day is established as Southeast Texas Missing Persons Day.
Real businesses rely on Spectrum Business for the fastest, most reliable internet, starting at 8 for your
all at the lowest price. And more.
On business empowers leaders to
Fast forward to 2019. The Harris County Sheriff's Office brings local police Allie's case from the missing person unit to the homicide division. A new cold case deputy even gets assigned to it, but ultimately nothing new comes of it. 4 years later, Joanne makes a big decision. She cancels Allie's cell phone line. It's a hard decision, but Joanne feels it's time. Unfortunately, the Lowitzer family knows as much about their Allie's whereabouts as they did in April 2010. Allie got off her school bus and never made it to work or home. This is another one of those cases. It's incredibly frustrating that basically no credible leads have materialized in the 14 years since Allie's been missing. No one seems to have any idea what happened to her. There have been no suspects or persons of interest named in this case, and no arrests have ever been made. That's pretty much where her case is today. Joanne believes her daughter could still be out there, so she continues to bring awareness to Allie's case. She appears on the local news often, and recently joined TikTok like a lot of families. There, she shares old memories and videos of Allie, along with important information on her disappearance. She's garnered quite an audience of 34,000 followers and counting. I, of course, encourage you to follow her, and we'll have the link to that in the episode description. Which brings me right to our call to action. Share Allie's case, share this episode, and share her mother Joanne's social media pages for her daughter. And if you'd like to help even further, her family is accepting donations to Allie's recovery fund via PayPal. I'll have the link for that in the description as well. As always, please let's rally around Allie's loved ones and show them the support that they need. As a reminder, Allie Lowitzer was 16 when she went missing from Spring, Texas on April 26, 2010. She is white, with brown hair and blue eyes. At the time of her disappearance, she was 5'2" and weighed approximately 145 pounds. She was last seen wearing a white t-shirt, dark hoodie, black and white checkered skinny jeans, and black tennis shoes. She was carrying a blue slide cell phone and a multicolored check backpack. She does wear braces and her ears are pierced. If you have any information about Allie Lowitzer, please call the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children at 1-800-THE-LOST. But as always, thank you, I love you, and I'll talk to you next time. Voices for Justice is hosted and produced by me, Sarah Turney, and is a Voices for Justice media original. This episode contains writing and research assistance by Mallory Cara. A special thank you to Allie's mom, Joanne, for speaking with us for this episode. If you love what we do here, please don't forget to follow, rate, and review the show in your podcast player. It's an easy and free way to help us and help more people find these cases in need of justice.
So big shout out to Sarah. I love her dearly, and I'd want her covering me if I was missing. It's a very frustrating case. Very frustrating. And my heart breaks for her mama.
Absolutely. Sarah does such an amazing job. And for those that aren't aware of who Sarah is, she started off as an advocate for her sister, Alyssa, and she it's like we say so many times, these family members become the best advocates for this community, and she is a prime example of that. And I do want to point out that it's important that even if you're not in Texas, that you share Allie's story, you share Allie's flyer, because it's so close to the Mexican border that she could have very well ended up in Mexico. She could be anywhere for that matter. And so share it out everywhere. We have viewers. I mean, Thor just said that some of his family in Europe is following me. So that shows what our reach is. Share it everywhere that you can. You never know who may see it and who may call that one tip in that breaks the case wide open.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if the possibility, you know, that she was trafficked, she could be anywhere. She could be anywhere. You know, Houston is not, you know, Houston is a big city. If you've never been to Houston, take my word for it. I lived in Gut and Shoot. Houston is a huge city with lots of ways out of the city. And you have Pasadena there. And you have a lot of people that travel to Pasadena for work because of the catalyst plants. Thank you, Thor, for being here. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. If I missed you coming in, I apologize. Sarah does such an amazing job. I didn't want to stop and commentate in between because she does phenomenal. And I wanted to let her go ahead and play through. I think I said hi to PJ, Paula Mustang, everybody that's in here. Thank you guys so much for taking your time out to come over tonight and listen to Allie's story. And like Arctic said, please grab her flyer. It'll be on my community wall. I'll put it in the general chat on Discord. That way, if you are in the Discord and you want to grab it from there, you can share it from there as well. I haven't shared her on my social media yet as far as sharing. I think I shared her on Twitter, but I have on like Missing Poster Monday because I wanted to do this live and I wanted to give the team an option to come up and, you know, do what we do and do all the things. And I'm not doing that out of meanness or ugliness. I just don't want some dirt bag to grab a whole case. And I hate to have to even be that way. And they can call me a gatekeeper if they want to, because that's perfectly fine. You can call me a gatekeeper, but this case has been in our private channel that only my team has access to in my Discord for like 3 weeks now. I just don't want people that are not here for the right reasons going anywhere near the cases that we cover. Because I hate to have to come in your chat and show my whole ass. Just going to put it out there like that. Kimber, are you with us? Or are you asleep down there?
No, I'm still here. I've just been listening.
You've just been listening?
Just been listening. It's a very sad story.
It really is. It really is. And I wish I would have known about her before the car show, because I would have printed her flyer and took it up there as well, because we had so many people from all over the United States come up to that table and look at flyers and take pictures and ask questions, and you know what I mean? Like it was phenomenal. I would have loved to have run across her case before the car show, and I would have had her on the table as well. Her mama it broke my heart. Like I was scrolling through TikTok and she come up on my For You page and I watched the video, and then I was like, so then I watched the pin videos and I was like, yeah, let me reach out to this mama. and see if
I mean, how
know,
can you
she would.
not watch those TikToks that she's got on there and not just be completely gut wrenched by how the pain that you can see written all over her face? I mean, if she is willing, I would love to have her come on our Saturday podcast at some point and talk about her daughter's case. And that way, she can put the vetted facts out herself to the public.
I'm sure she would, because I told her, I said, we do interviews, we'll give you a safe place, so I'm sure she would. I have another case as well that Bonnie tagged me on TikTok, and I have been reading through 300 pages of police reports, and I'm gonna drop all that in one of the locked channels, and then I'll let you guys know in the team chat which channel it's in.
All right.
It is one that will make the top of your head want to completely blow off. It's not a missing case, it's a murder case. And oh my God, Arctic. I started reading through the freaking police report, and I swear to you, I'm over here chain smoking. Houston is a city that has a lot of people who lives in a lot of areas. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Houston, you've got Cut and Shoot, you've got Conroe. Dallas is not that far away. Spring. There's a bunch of little towns all around there. When Minnie was 3, I lived in Conroe, Texas, which is right outside of Houston and off of Highway 100. And I worked at the truck stop and Cut and Shoot.
I will say, I'll give credit where it's due. Texas has gotten better about issuing Amber Alerts than what they were back when Allie went missing. But the problem is that they wait almost 48 hours, sometimes a week, before they issue the Amber Alert, when the most critical time frame is the first 24 to 48 hours. So what's the point in even issuing the alert if a week's elapsed before you decide to issue one?
Yep. Especially like when you do what we do and you do research and you look into it and you're going, why is this child been missing for 2 weeks and we're just now hearing about it? Like, it blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind. And the ones that don't get any Amber Alert at all, nothing.
Or they issue an Amber Alert and they don't even have a picture of the child when they issue the Amber Alert.
There you go. Like the Dutchess's live the other night, the Amber Alert that popped up when you were on panel going over Oklahoma. No picture. I mean, you have that one troll account on Twitter that I don't trust that guy as far as I could throw him, and he had pictures up there. But when I went to look for where he generally pulls his pictures from, I couldn't find no picture of that baby. Because I've interacted with him before, and I was like, where did you find this? Where are you finding this information? And I finally dug and dug and dug and found out how he was finding the photos that he shares. And I won't share them because, who the hell knows if it's somebody else's kid.
Exactly.
Or if it's an actual missing kid.
The good news is that Amber Alert was resolved, even though there wasn't a picture. It was resolved within 24 hours. The child was found safe. So
I was really, really glad to see that. I think I asked Doodle, or I might have asked in our group chat. I don't even remember now. Where that the child was found. There was another one I put in our group chat. I'm going to check it before I bring it up.
Yeah, I think it was issued that same night, if I'm not mistaken, and that one was resolved too.
Was it? That's
Yes.
good. I always like to hear that, especially when they're brought home safe. Because we have so many that are not brought home safe, and it just, yep, cool. Cool. This one from earlier that I put in our Discord is resolved as well. Sweet. You know, I learned the other day that, like, the Aware Foundation and Voices for the Voiceless, and they have group chats that you can join. Did you know that?
Yes, I did.
I did not know that while I was taking my break. I do suck at taking a break. But I joined all their group chats. I was like, oh, that's cool. I didn't even know that existed. That's so much better than digging through all the posters and Googling names and stuff. It just pings right on my phone, and I'm like, oh, well, isn't that something? Exactly, Mustang. All missing children should be on an Amber Alert. Absolutely. Yep, I agree. Happy Easter, Miss Barbara. Thank you so much for coming in tonight. A lyric found safe. Perfect. Thank you, Doodle. I love that name. A lyric. I guess I'm saying it right. I might not be. Up here in Maine, we've arranged that someone gets missing. We have 150 to 200 people gathered in an hour. That's awesome, Thor. That's awesome. And I saw you have your girls home for the weekend. I'm so glad and fortunate. I got my 3 daughters home this holiday, and I think of those that don't. Yeah. That's awesome that you've got the girls. That's amazing. That is amazing. Mine are both grown and doing their own thing. Doing their own thing. I hate it when they get old and don't hear from them anymore. Or you hear from them when they need you. Well, Minnie, he generally calls me every day. I can't say that about him. My youngest one, though, he's not much on calling mom. Yes, girl, they have group chats. I don't even know how I joined them. You probably have to ask Arctic. Let me see if I can figure one of them out.
Girl, I don't know. I just end up getting put in them.
You know what? I might have got a notification. No, I don't remember. I don't got nothing to hide. There ain't in here that I'm gonna pull up my Facebook and I'll show you. I've got to pull up. Oh, it's Doodlebug. Here's my screen. Oh, because I'm over here pushing buttons. Yeah, see, like it. I don't even know how it happened. I think I did get a notification that said you've been invited or something, and it like sends you. You can't chat in there.
It'll give you a notification if there's a group chat on Facebook. If you're part of the group, it'll give you a notification.
Cool? I don't know. Let's creep their page and see if you can. Is it going to let me do it? These girls are awesome. I actually met them at CrimeCon. Oh, it's not on there. Doodle, you might be able to message them and say, hey, will you invite me to your group chat thingy? Because, like, you can't reply on them. And she says, oh, Lord, I'm probably not in there. Have to. No idea. Yeah, I don't know how to do it. It sends you, like,
You just have to join the group. And then if they have a group chat, it will invite you. You just have to join the group. And then if they have a group chat, it will normally you'll get a message and then you can choose to join the group chat or not to join the group chat.
Oh, well, that makes sense. I've been in their group for a long time.
Yep, me too. I don't think
Look
I'm
at
in their group chat.
these. It just popped up and I was like, oh, yeah. 'Cause I didn't remember it coming, but I've had a hell of a week, so I can remember if I clicked on it or not. I don't know how to do it. This one's from 2 hours ago. Alea Kirby, 19, was last seen in Salina, Kansas on the evening of March 27th, 2025. And it's April 19th. She's described as 5'6" tall, weighs approximately 125 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. Alea had plans to travel to Wichita, Kansas, which an unidentified female, but it's currently unknown whether she arrived at her destination. If you have any information, contact the Salina Police Department or 911 785-826-7210. Yeah, these girls are amazing. Voice for the voiceless. I love them. All right, guys, I'm not going to keep you too terribly long tonight. Thank you so much for coming up, and thank you, everybody, for coming in and all the things.
Well, thanks as always for having me up, and I hope everyone out there has a fantastic Easter and enjoys your holiday, even though it may cost you $200 to have an Easter egg hunt.
What the hell? Oh, yeah, the price of eggs. I was like, wait a minute. $200. When the hell did they start charging for Easter eggs? Oh, y'all. See, this is what happens when you take time away. I'm like, my brain is like mush. I'm trying to get back in my groove. I want to go to an Easter egg hunt. Dude, I saw on a video where this farm, and don't ask me where the hell it was because I have no idea. And they used a helicopter to drop Easter eggs on this big farm, and they let the community come and hunt the Easter eggs. I thought that was so cool.
I miss the Easter egg hunts at my grandma's. My Uncle Cliff, he had a way of getting the inside of the egg out without destroying the shell. And he would sit there and he'd be able to put little stuff inside the actual eggs. I don't know how he did it, but he also was a prankster too. So he would dye eggs that had not been hard boiled, and we would end up finding those and having egg fights with them at my grandma's
Oh
every
my
year.
Lord. That sounds like so much fun, man. That sounds like so much fun. I saw one where this chick took like the prize, the golden egg, and put it in her bun and her hair. I thought, well, that's kind of a dirty move. Thank you, Peggy. It's good to see all of you guys too. Thank you so much. I tried to come live Tuesday. I just wasn't in the right state of mind.
Yeah, our local radio station usually does an Easter egg hunt, but because of the rain and everything, it got called off this year.
Oh, no. Oh, well, hell,
Yeah.
y'all can't kill a week without tornadoes, though.
This is true.
That's horrible.
Both my cars were just detailed and looked amazing at the beginning of the week. Not so much now.
Oh, no. Have you at least been able to take out the Mustang and drop the top?
Oh yeah, I've been driving the Mustang all week, and I told my mom, I was like, the only time that key is getting driven in the summertime is if I gotta take you somewhere. I went all winter without driving that car. By God, I'm gonna drive the living crap out of it during the summer.
Don't blame you. I don't blame you. Hell, if I keep mine running for more than a month, I'd drive mine. But that damn car is about to. I think I'm going to do what you did with your laptop. I'm going to threaten to throw it in a baptism. Maybe it'll run for a
I'm
damn
telling you,
week.
your problem is probably as simple as a cracked thermostat housing. Those 4.0 engines, they have a plastic thermostat housing that cracks. And when I had my V6, I replaced mine 4 times before I finally said, you know what? Enough of this. And they make an aluminum replacement for it. And that's what I did. And I never had another problem again.
Oh, shit. Yeah, that's what they were supposed to have replaced on it this time was the housing. So I'll just be glad when it's done dumping money into the damn thing. Because, something said, buy another Mustang.
Well,
It'll be fine.
if you replace that housing again, get the aluminum one. It's more expensive, but it's worth it because, girl, I had to replace mine twice in a year, 1 year on that car because they crack so easily, and those cars, the 4.0s have enough problems as it is because they've got those plastic timing chain guards. And Ford, in their infinite wisdom, put 3 timing chains on that car. One is in the very back of the engine so that you have to pull the entire engine if you ever have to replace that. Well, those timing chain guards, being made out of plastic, they break. They end up in your crankcase, in your oil crankcase. It's just a whole ass mess.
Oh, Lord. I knew I should have just got a Jeep. Every time I think about it,
see now the GTs, the V8s, they don't have that same issue. So maybe next time get yourself a GT.
I almost, when I got this one, I almost got a blue one, and it was convertible. And we stopped and looked at this one, and I actually bought this from a Jeep dealer. And we stopped and looked at this one, and he just fell in love with it. Which, it's red. It's freaking that candy apple red. So they had it sitting out in the sun, and the chrome all shined up on it. And he was like a macaw. Hi, Brutally. Thank you so much for being here, honey. He was like a macaw. He was like, ooh, look. It's shiny.
I know.
This one.
Well, my 4.0 was the torch red, and I loved that car. Then I traded it in on a 2014 that I didn't like nearly as much as I did the 06 that I had. So I ended up trading that 2014 in on the 09 that I have now because it's a GT, and I love that one. I'm not ever getting rid of it, although I was on Facebook Marketplace today. And I did almost maybe pull, some money out of the account and go buy myself a Corvette that was on there, but I talked myself out of it. So,
a Corvette.
Well, it's like my mom says, how many cars can you drive? I mean, it's like at one point I had 4 Mustangs and a truck. And I wasn't driving but 2 vehicles during the week. And I was like, I'm paying all this insurance, all these tags, all these taxes. So, yeah, I ended up selling most of what I had.
Yeah. I normally have a motorcycle, a pickup truck, and a car. Like, since I was like 19 years old. I've always kept a motorcycle, a pickup truck, and a car. And I sold the bike because I'm getting older. And it wasn't necessarily that I was getting older. It was that my kids were getting older and they were wanting to ride it. Negative Ghost Rider. So I sold it. And then the truck that we had, the front end fell out from underneath of it. And I ended up getting, a guy paid me $100 more than what I paid for the damn truck. So I sold it. And then when I saved up for several months and went and got this car because we had the Suburban, but Minnie didn't have anything to drive at the time. That was his. He was driving his girl's car. And so we ended up surprising him and taking the Suburban to Miami one day when he was living down there, and brought him the truck, and he was really excited about it. So now I'm down to just the Mustang because he totaled the brand new car that we had. So we're just down to the Stang now.
Well, I mean, if you can get that thermostat housing fixed on it, just like with my 4.0 that I had, I drove that thing with the timing chain guards bad on it for a long time without any real issues. The main issue that I had with it when the timing chain guards went bad is it did go down into my crankcase and it threw my oil pressure sensor off. So every once in a while, I'd get a low oil pressure light, even though it had plenty of oil in it. So, that was the biggest issue. But I mean, those 4.0s, yeah, those 4.0s will sit there. They'll run. The engine itself is solid. It's just the little issues that Ford did, like plastic thermostat housings and plastic timing chain guards. But the 4.0 engine itself, it's a beast. You can sit there. I'm telling you, my Ford Explorer that I totaled out, that thing had the 4.0 engine in it. And I drove that thing. I put 400,000 miles on that Explorer. I hit a deer with it, and it kept on going. The only thing that finally killed it was when I flipped that thing.
Oh, Lord. Those are good trucks, though. I had one that was a flood vehicle. And I think I gave like $800 for it in Nashville. And I loved that damn Explorer. I loved everything about that truck. The kids called it haunted because it was a flood vehicle. So it had like electrical stuff going on in it, and the windows would roll up and down on their own. The radio would come on. But it was a solid truck, though. It was a good truck.
Oh, yeah. My Explorer was great. I mean,
one of those.
I only paid $800 for mine. I found it used on Facebook Marketplace, and I was desperate for a vehicle at the time, so I bought it. And then, like I said, I'd be driving it still. Probably had some lady not decide to cut me off on the interstate, and I overcorrected, and I ended up flipping it 6 times. So,
damn.
Oh, yeah, I got pictures, girl. I'll have to send them in our team chat one day. How I walked away from that, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Built Ford tough, man. I'm telling you. Ford owners were built Ford tough, too.
I guess. And then my dumb ass, they're sitting there begging me to go to the hospital when the ambulance shows up. I'm like, I'm fine. I don't even feel any pain. Well, I didn't feel any pain because I was high on adrenaline. Let me tell you, girl, the next week, I felt every bit of what happened to me.
Oh, I bet. Damn. It's like when I had my semi-wreck. I was in an old 1985 Ford F-150 solid truck. And, they said that if I had been in any other vehicle, I'd probably be dead. I would have never made it through it. And because he hit me head on. And like hell, after the wreck, I climbed out the broken back glass and was raising 9 kinds of hell with that guy. The 2 days after I got out of the hospital, I couldn't hardly move. I couldn't hardly stand up. Like I couldn't move my head. Like I was really, really damaged. But I mean, you wouldn't have been able to tell it if you'd have been at the scene because I was all over the place. I'm a cussing and a hollering and you sunbutching and all kinds of things. But yeah, adrenaline, it just drives you. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to end it out for tonight. Much love. Thank you, Arctic, for coming up and hanging out with me. And thank you, Kimber, for coming up and hanging out with me. Thank you for everybody in chat. I appreciate all of you guys. And we will be trying to get back on the schedule that we had rolling and get everything back normal now that everything's kind of getting normal with me. And apparently when I don't go live, I get completely combobbled and don't know what I'm doing. Look like I just started doing this again.
Oh, you did good tonight.
Love you, love you, love you. Arctic, you want to say your closing?
Yeah, guys, just remember, y'all, when you see someone out on the street, you don't know what that person's going through. They may have a missing person themselves in their family. So just take that extra time out of your day to be nice, smile, and tell them to have a nice day. Just be kind to one another out there because you don't know what that next person's going through.
Facts. Kemba.
Y'all be good humans and have a happy Easter.
All right, guys, always remember, if you see something, say something. It takes a village to raise a child. We never give up. And I will catch you guys on the flip side.